The one biggest thing is to practice a conscious act of kindness every single day. If you do that, just one, it will change your life. I'm sure it'll change other people's lives. And it doesn't have to do or be anything big. It could be that simple smile. It could be that hold the door open for someone. It could be let me grab your groceries for you. Whatever it is, check on your neighbor.
Welcome to a new episode of the See Life Different podcast. Today on the See Life Different podcast, we have Jill Lublin. She is an international speaker and is the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed Get Referrals. She's the co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profitability Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in your industry. She is the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years of experience working with over 100,000 people nationally and internationally. And she teaches a Publicity Crash Course, consults and speaks all over the world. She shares stages with Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins, and so much more. And today we're going to talk about everything from publicity to networking to really what it looks like to just have breakthroughs. So this episode is for you if you are ready to be seen and be heard and get known as the expert in your industry. So Jill, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I am doing great today, and it's nice to be with you. Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. So let's dive right into, I want to dive into some fun facts, right? I mean, of course, you are the master strategist, but you weren't always the master strategist. I think you had to start somewhere, right? And from what I gather, that somewhere was law school. Is that right?
That somewhere was like everybody. I picked the wrong path and to get started. I actually went to law school, which I thought was a great idea. I was excited about it. I thought I'm going to make a difference. And then I got to law school, and it truthfully was not for me. I mean, I still believe in so many good things about people who study that way, and it's phenomenal. It just wasn't for me. And so I dropped out. Shh, don't tell my family. They hated it. And they were very upset with me. But here's what's interesting. I started in the music business, which was much more my personality, much more dynamic and fun and interesting to me. And I actually was in that career for 5 years. Now, I'll tell you something about the music business. It's all about perception. And so I learned guerrilla publicity through the music business, and in fact then opened up my own PR agency, and now I'm a PR strategist and work with virtual publicity courses, helping entrepreneurs to get this stuff done. But I'll tell you something, it was in my career as in the music business and then sort of the evolution of that got me tapped on the shoulder to write guerrilla publicity, because I actually had the real world experience. And so, like everything, there's always a path to it. And sometimes you get there the fast way, and sometimes it's a bit round and round we go. But sooner or later, you'll find it.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with the first circle moments of life, especially when it comes to once you are a creative and in creativity. That's exactly what the music industry is. And even with me, although I had maybe a good 5-year stint in the music industry. It's all the same thing. You're all about being seen, right? Getting out there, telling your story. It's all the same thing.
I love that. And it's so fun. We were both in the music business.
Yes. I think for me, I was for a minute, I was on the camera side, right? I'm the one who photographed the album covers, photographed at the live events. But it's all the same thing of, whether they're needing to build their visibility, build their brand, right?
Absolutely. And the great news is that I was the one putting them into the media and making publicity happening while using your photographs, I'm sure.
Yes, that part. And so let's dive right into that. Like, what was that light bulb moment where it's like, you know what? Law is great, the music industry is fine, but I really, really enjoy kind of getting them out there, getting them more visible. What was that light bulb moment for you?
The truth is I was doing it in the music business, but as you might know, it's a burnout industry. I mean, I was, doing the business of the music business all day long, helping my artists get into media. We sold out Carnegie Hall for one of my artists before they ever got there. That was super exciting, and that was done because I got them in the Boston Globe and the New York Times. And then, I think sometimes you just got to move into another aspect of your career. So at that point, I moved into running a PR agency, and for me, the light bulb moment was, if I'm not, I remember being at a Gypsy Kings concert, who I love, and it was outdoors, and it was beautiful in Berkeley, California, in an outdoor amphitheater, and I was like, I think I was so tired, and kind of burnt out, and I thought, this is not fun anymore. It's like eating lobster, 5 times a week. You just, after a while, you might not enjoy it. So I moved into a new phase. And I think for me, my career has been phases as I look at it, different phases, different times. And now I'm super happy working with the people I work with, entrepreneurs, because that's where my heart's always been. And I've never been a corporate kind of gal, and as much as, you get paid a lot more, but it's just been a fun journey, and I'm glad to be where I am now.
Great. I love that. And I'm glad you found exactly where you love to be. And so, if I may, has your book kind of been in that chronological order? Every shift and pivot that you've made, the next book kind of came out?
Yeah, it was really interesting because Guerrilla Publicity got born. We're in our 3rd edition now. I can't believe it. Like, oh my gosh, 3rd edition, because everything keeps changing and we want to keep up with it. And we sold over 80,000 copies, probably more by now. And then because we did well with publicity, I do walk my talk and I practice what I preach and I do what works in the marketplace. And we got a lot of publicity. And my publisher asked me what every author wants to hear, and that's, what's your next book? Mm-hmm. So next book became Get Noticed Get Referrals from McGraw-Hill. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty exciting and super great. And then came Networking Magic, about how to create great networking. And then, as you see from book number 4, The Profit of Kindness, actually got inspired by a woman that I helped take care of, who's now 85. I just do my good friend thing, and she once looked at me, you're so kind, and I wish they had a new currency, she said, the currency of kindness. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a super cool book, right? And funny enough, it ties into publicity because kind companies get more publicity. And now I run an intentional kindness community as an addition to my business, and I'm having a blast with it. So here we are back at the farm with 4 books under my belt, and somebody reminded me 4 more that I'm part of in a compilation.
I love that. And it sounded like also The Profit to Kindness was the book that came out at the right time. Although it's very different from what you've done, it's still very in alignment with who you are, right? But it also came out at such a perfect time. And so what can people really get or take away, even if they're not reading right now, right? There's so many people who are just not reading like they used to. But what is the one thing they could take away from Profit to Kindness?
Oh, well, okay. The one biggest thing is to practice a conscious act of kindness every single day. If you do that, just one, it will change your life. I'm sure it'll change other people's lives. And it doesn't have to do or be anything big. It could be that simple smile. It could be that hold the door open for someone. It could be let me grab your groceries for you. Whatever it is, check on your neighbor. I thought, my gosh, the other day, one of my neighbors literally was throwing up in front of my house. Oh my gosh, she's 82 years old. I'm like, uh-oh. We walked her to her home. We called the paramedics. They came and took her away. And I have to tell you, I'm left in her house with the dog, and I have no keys. I don't know who her family is. And I'm like, now what do I do? But we did the right thing, the kindly thing, the neighborly thing. I didn't actually know her very well. She's only a few houses down, but in our world today, unfortunately, we hardly know our neighbors. So, get to know your neighbors. I do actually know my neighbors on both sides. But I think that's really important that we be as kind as we can in a world and a day, meaning the kind of time it is in our world today. We need to practice kindness now more than ever.
Absolutely, yes. Let's definitely practice kindness now more than ever. Now, speaking of kindness, World Kindness Day is November 13th. It's always a consistent Thursday, correct, in November.
And in fact, you can put that special link I gave you, because all of your listeners are invited as my guest to our beautiful kindness circles that we run every single month. And, the super great thing about this is being in intentional circles of kindness. What I love to facilitate is people giving to each other leads and referrals. And here's what's interesting, because I'm telling you, writing The Profit of Kindness, boy, did I discover the power of kindness in business, and that big companies and small ones, the kinder they were, here's what happened. They had happier employees. They had happier clients. They, the CEO, even if it's a single source business, meaning a one person business, were also happier. And guess what else? They typically made more money. Isn't that interesting? Because, you're generating that kind of enthusiasm and power of kindness and the multiplication factor of that. So, in San Francisco, where I'm based, there is a major healthcare company, and they've got a bus campaign called the Human Kindness Campaign. Isn't that interesting? Healthcare. So the good news is it's taken over the market. I think people are talking about it, being it, practicing it, and that is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, yes, especially in this day and age. And I think what happens is once people really unlearn what kindness looks like for them, and once they're able to put, really the past kind of behind them and really just say, you know what, kindness is actually what's going to be a part of my legacy. So let me continue to do just that. So I love that. And so the link is going to be in the show notes, but I'm also going to say right now for those of you who are ready to jot it down. So it's jilllublin.com/kindness circles. jilllublin.com/kindness circles. Great. And so I know you have a couple of other things going on as well, way before November. So what else do you have that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. Thank you. I have a fun publicity challenge, because every single day for just an hour, we are going to get together. We're going to practice publicity. I'm going to give you some real things that you can do each day to focus in on your publicity journey to make you more credible, visible, and get that attention that you deserve by doing the right things in the media. So you go to jilllublin.com/challenge. And I invite you to come into our challenge, and I promise you fun and knowledge done in only an hour a day. Isn't that great? For only 3 days. So we get right to the point, my friends, because that's what the media needs from you, and you need to know how to be successful with them. The other thing I have for you is a free publicity action guide, and we'll be putting that in the chat too. This is a fill in the blank, great PR topics that you need for next. And then additionally, I have a publicity masterclass where you get to come in with me for free, live with me. I'll answer your questions, and I'm going to give you more publicity tips to rock your world and get you out there.
Got that. So that website is publicitycrashcourse.com. publicitycrashcourse.com.
Yes, and actually it's publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift is even better. It'll take you right there, and there you are.
Publicity. Make sure you can spell it out, because publicity is a tricky word. publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift, and then you can get this free gift directly from this episode. Great. And now we are almost done. And so now I'm going to wrap up the conversation in a fun way that I love to wrap up almost all of my podcast episodes, with 2 fun questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great. So the first question is, I know you've been to Bolivia, but where would you like to travel to next?
Oh boy. It's a tough choice, I'll tell you. I want to do an African safari and plus visit other parts of Africa. And India, because my book, The Profit of Kindness, is in India and in Russian, interestingly enough. So those places are big on the list.
I love that. India and Russia and South Africa. Is that East Africa?
Well, I actually said Profit of Kindness is in Russian and in India.
Yeah.
I think I'll not go to Russia right now, but I would like to go to India as well as take a safari in probably South Africa.
South
yes.
Africa. Okay, great. Got that. All right. And the next question is, what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, if they had to do 3 words, I want it to be, she was kind. She was kind. And you know, I live by a quote by Abraham Lincoln: whatever you are, be a good one.
I love that. Whatever you are, be a good one. You are definitely good at strategy, definitely good at keeping it short and sweet, definitely good at being powerful and impactful with your words. Less is more, and you are doing exactly what you should be doing. And thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be doing it, and I love what I do, and I do what I love. I feel blessed.
Yes. Now, if no one got anything else from this conversation, what's the one thing you want people to remember?
I think I want you to remember that your message matters. Your message matters. So I say, let's get it out there.
There we go. All right, there we go. Jill Lublin is the one to help you get your message out there, and so be sure to check out all of Jill Lublin's links, and we'll put them in the show notes. And so for those who want to just kind of stalk you on social media, where can they find you?
Oh, and all the places we said. You can go to my free gift. You can go to my challenge. You'll find me, I promise. And those would be the best places.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jill, for being here.
Thank you.